What's up? Welcome back to my bio series. We're finally back with more bios. I know these have been really popular, and today I want to talk about Anna Wintour, who is one of my all-time favorite heroes. I have been obsessed with her pretty much since 1988 when I first saw her first issue of Vogue. It's part of the reason I got into fashion, and I've been really lucky in my career to have worked with her and shot for Vogue, styled for Vogue for the last 10 years or so, maybe, yeah, 10 years, started in 2004. So I wanted to do a special bio just on her. She was born in 1949 in England, in London, and her dad is English, so he's British, and he's the editor of the Evening Standard newspaper, which is one of the biggest papers in London. So she comes from a hardcore editor publishing, father, and then her mother was American, and she was a Harvard law professor. So two smart parents. American and English, and I think it's kind of cool that she has the American roots, and that's like part of why I think she's been so great at American Vogue. So she is known for her bob haircut, and she's actually had that since she was 14. She got it by Vidal Sassoon in the 60s when she was a teenager, and she's had it ever since. I love the freaking haircut because I think it keeps her from aging in so many ways because the consistency of it, I don't know, it's a funny little thing. And I have a bob lately. You can't see it right now, but I've been walking a bob, and I feel like super Anna inspired by the whole thing. But anyway, she dropped out of school at a young age to pursue fashion and to be a fashion editor. I think she said, in the September issue that her dad kind of decided like, oh, you should go work for Vogue. You should be the editor of Vogue. You should work in fashion. So she'd always been obsessed with fashion, and she's been quoted as saying she left school because you either know fashion or you don't, and you didn't need to go to school for it. So I thought that was really cool because I left school early too to go work in fashion. Not saying you should drop out of school, but I'm just saying it worked for Anna, and so far it's worked for me. She started working in 1970 at a now defunct magazine called Oz, and I guess her boyfriend was the photographer / editor publisher of it. And then she ended up going to Harper's and Queens, which was the UK version of Harper's Bazaar in the 70s, as an assistant editor. So in 1975, she then moved to New York and became a junior fashion editor at Harper's Bazaar, and then became the fashion editor later that year, ended up becoming the fashion editor of one of my favorite magazines to research and go and find and be inspired by, a magazine called Viva. Now, Viva was published by Penthouse. Ooh, so scandalous. But Viva was Bob Saccone, I think that's how you say his name, who owned Penthouse. It was his wife's version of a women's adult magazine. Now, so it was basically like Playgirl, but like the Penthouse way crazier version, and it's pretty freaking cool to me that Anna Wintour was the fashion editor of it. She had Helmut Newton shooting for it. The covers are incredible. I highly recommend a Google search and an eBay search if you can find them. The original Viva magazines from the 70s. They are kick-ass. So she was there until the magazine actually shut down because it didn't end up doing it very well. I don't know. Women don't like porn as much or something. I don't know. I don't get it. But the magazine was awesome nonetheless. Then she was also rumored around that time to have met Bob Marley. This is a little fun fact side note that probably isn't true, but I like to think it's true because it makes her even more badass to me. She met Bob Marley in New York and apparently disappeared with him for a couple weeks. Hopefully went on tour with him and got lots of Jamaican ass. So that's pretty cool. We like that about you, Anna Wintour, being a modern woman in the 70s. I like it. So in 1980, she ended up taking over from Elsa Clinch at a magazine that's now defunct again called Savvy. And Savvy, she was a fashion editor there, and Savvy was a magazine known for kind of the new woman, the new modern woman, and kind of the working businesswoman who was really more obsessed with or more focused on their career and making money. And it wasn't like the kind of Vogue girl who's just a socialite who was just like, oh, I have all time and day to shop. So it was kind of more direct, and more just a different way of looking at women for the first time. So I think that sounds really cool. Take a look and see if you can find any old Savvies. She was there from 1980 for about a year, and then she ended up going to New York Magazine. Now, New York Magazine is where she ended up being fashion editor there, and that's where she really kind of started to make a name for herself. She was started to get more, let's say, attention for her magazine spread she was doing, styling and editing, and she was still working with all Helmut Newton and all these great big photographers that she had met in London and had been working with since her London days, and that's kind of what got the attention of Vogue. Now, she went to Vogue in 1983 as a creative director. Alex Lieberman brought her in, is the rumor, and she was put into a creative director position that didn't exist at that time. So it was very kind of awkward situation, apparently, because Grace Mellor-Bella, who was the editor-in-chief at the time, who had taken over from Diana Vreeland 10 years before, Grace didn't approve it and didn't necessarily like Anna. And Anna was put in this creative director position who could kind of I guess, change things without the editor-in-chief knowing. So it kind of created a lot of drama over at Vogue US. And Alex Lieberman kind of, I think from what I've read about it, I wasn't there, so I'm making I'm just giving my opinion about it. It kind of sounds like they wanted to put her in there to see if she would be the right person to maybe eventually take over for Grace Mirabella. Now, that was kind of a rocky situation for a couple years. They ended up moving Anna in 1983 to London to be the editor-in-chief of British Vogue. Now, that was the first time she took over for Beatrix Miller, who was there forever and who was incredible at British Vogue. And when she kind of went to British Vogue in London in 1985, it was considered really scandalous because she fired a lot of staff, put in all of her own new staff. I mean, that's a pretty normal thing when someone takes over a company, but I guess it was kind of done with people. Let's just say this is where she earned the name Nuclear Winter, and where, they called it, the time she was at British Vogue, they called it in the press, I guess whoever was working there and spoke to the press called it, the winter of our discontent. So this is where she kind of started to get this media cartoon kind of being seen as this really cold person. I've worked with her, I've met her, I've done meetings with her. She was not that way to me at all. So I just want to say that to me, I don't experience her that way. I thought she was professional. I wouldn't say she was trying to brush my hair and be my best friend, but she was being professional and awesome and made me feel really good about what I was doing with her. So I don't know, maybe she was a different person in 85, who knows? So after the kind of she had a couple years at British Vogue, and they ended up moving her to House & Garden. Now, House & Garden was having a lot of problems, and I think it was their way of bringing Anna back to New York and kind of giving her another project while they figured out what they wanted to do with US Vogue. Now, House & Garden, she changed the name to HG, and a lot of people got confused. It did not go well at House & Garden for Anna, but that's okay because she never wanted House & Garden. She wanted Vogue. And with whatever she did between British Vogue and House & Garden, she did get to American Vogue in 1988, obviously. She's there now. But her first issue was November 1988, and it's very famous for putting a girl in jeans, like $50 faded jeans, and a $10,000 La Croix sweatshirt or jacket. So from the runways. So it was, apparently she had been quoted as saying the reason that the girl was put into the jeans instead of the matching skirt was because she didn't fit into the matching skirt. So they just shot her in her jeans. And I don't know, it's like, that's one of the first covers, that's one of the first issues of Vogue I had. I was obsessed with it. I thought it was so cool. And I do think it was kind of spawning on a new era for American Vogue. They were really competing at that time with Elle, who had just opened in America. And Elle had that more kind of easy feeling. And Vogue, prior to that cover, prior to Anna getting there, felt kind of very overly glamorous and a little bit too styled and too done. So doing something really cool and raw and like jeans and a couture piece was something that had never been done before, and it felt really new and far cooler version of kind of what French Elle and Elle had been doing. So she obviously has rocked it since she's been at Vogue. She is considered, in my opinion, the most powerful person in fashion. I know several people that she's helped get jobs. I know several people that she's helped stay in business as designers, design houses. Whenever any of the big luxury groups need a new designer, you better bet Anna Wintour is one of the first phone calls they make to find out who they should be interviewing. She helps people get collaboration. She helps people stay in business. She's an incredible, incredible, loyal woman who has really done a lot of amazing things for people, and I don't think people know that part about her. It's so easy to talk shit when, you know, you don't know somebody, but I have so many friends who've worked at Vogue and been supported by Vogue and been put in business and kept in business by Anna and her staff there. So I just have so much respect and love for that woman and for her team that works there. They are the most professional, incredible people, and literally the best at what they do in the world. I mean, Neiman Marcus, you know, and all sorts of huge retailers rely on Anna to help designers deliver on time and all sorts of kind of behind the scenes operations and organization issues that no one even thinks that she's involved in. Not to mention putting out Vogue, which is considered the best magazine, most powerful magazine in the world. So there's Anna Wintour. If you're interested in more about her, this was just a 10-minute brief bio. There is a fantastic book. It is an unauthorized biography, so don't take all of it as truth, but it is extremely interesting. A book called Front Row. I'll put the link to that below, but it gives you kind of a full rundown of Anna, as much as this guy could dig up, but it's incredibly fascinating and so inspiring. At least was very inspiring for me. And then, of course, if you want something that was approved by Anna and you haven't seen it yet, definitely the September issue is awesome. Super incredible. And then also check out Vogue TV. There's stuff of Anna there. And also they did the CFDA Fashion Fund reality show that I think was on, can't remember the network. Really bad at live TV. But I'll find out what it is and I'll put it below on my YouTube channel. So yeah, Anna Wintour, if you're working in fashion, if you want to be in fashion, you have to know about this woman. She's incredibly influential, and you know, if anything, it doesn't matter if you don't like her, you don't like US Vogue. Just take a look at her career and what she did with her career and what she has continued to do with her career. I think she is an A+ example of how to make it in fashion, obviously. And how to support people and create a loyal, you know, business, loyal group of people. I don't know, it's like, I just have so much respect for someone who's helped that many people. So anyway, there's Anna Wintour. I love her. I love you guys. If you like the bios, like here. Let me know that you want more videos like this. Subscribe to my channel for videos pretty much every day, Monday through Friday. And I'll see you guys on the next episode. Check you later.